This session will help you learn how to create a box plot using both Excel and SPSS. So my demonstration is going to be with the pin shoulder scores for each group using just the baseline or pre-data. For your homework, you're going to do the same process, but I'm only going to have you use the injured average strength data at baseline for each of the three muscles, upper trap, lower trap, and infraspinatus. A lot of this ends up being a lot of copying and pasting, so I don't want to have you waste a ton of time, but I want you to be able to use the functions of creating a box plot both in SPSS and Excel. So let's start with SPSS. So as we go and open our data, make this a little bit bigger if I can. See if that helps you see things better. The first step I'm going to do, because I want each group individually organized. So I want to make sure my healthy and my injured are split. And I just practiced doing this before I started recording, so it's already been done. But let's go through the steps. So data, split file, organize outputs by groups. So we want to use groups to have it do the analysis individually for the injured and the healthy. That's what we're basically asking it to do. Okay, so now what we want it to do is we want it to generate a box plot. There's probably more than one way to do this, but I'm going to use the graphing function. It's going to basically build a graph for me. So the legacy dialog box is the traditional or the classic, and we go down here to box plot. We just want a simple box plot because we want to do them individually. You can do them in clusters. A little harder to do clusters in Excel, but you could try to do that. And you can sort of see I've already put in the information. Pre-pin score came from this group, from this list of variables, and then I'm going to do my category access by group. I'm not going to change any of the options. I just wanted to generate a box plot and hit OK. Now the healthy one looks really funny because they're all 30, so there's no variance around that. But if we look down here, this is a little bit more of a typical. So remember that the line means the median value. The box represents 25 to 75% quartile, or what we call the interquartile range. And then this should be the min and the max is typically how that is calculated and described. So for your healthy group, you're just going to copy that and put it into your Excel data. There's our blank Excel data. Oh, I forgot to get rid of the other one. Sorry about that. And I'm just going to paste that in. So as you go through this, I would recommend that you sort of create a new worksheet as you get rid of that document. So let me delete since I'm recording. Okay, so this already says group healthy, but I just want to know what this is. So I would define it. So this is my pre-pin pain score. This is for my healthy group. And then you're going to have the same thing. So I can just copy that, put it right here, and paste. And now this is going to be for the injured group. And so I'm going to go back to my SPSS output, grab the one that looks like an actual box plot, copy, and I'm going to paste that into my Excel document. And I would repeat that procedure over and over again. Let me do it one more time. That way you can be sure you know what you're going to be asked to do. So I've already split the file. It's going to remember that. I'm going to go in my graph, go to my legacy dialogs, go to my box plot, doing a simple define. So now I'm going to push out the pre-pain, and now I'm going to pull in the pre-satisfaction. Boom. Still want it done by group. Hit OK. Alright, my healthy group looks weird again. They're all very close to 10. Got a couple of little outliers here. And then again, my injured group looks more typical. One really low satisfaction score in the injured person. They're down at a 1. The highest person is up here at a 9, but on average they're only about 60% satisfied. I would repeat the copy and paste command and build my comparison chart. So it's just copy, go back to Excel, this is pasted, this is my healthy group, but now it's not pain, it's satisfaction. So it's not growing the whiskers, if you will, or the ends of the box, because there's so much data on top of each other. Okay, so now if I wanted to do this without using SPSS, maybe you don't have that, or you want to just take a quick look at your data as you're throwing it into Excel and seeing how your data is looking, we can do the same thing within Excel. Again, we want to organize this data so we have all the healthies together and all the injureds together as we graph our data. So how do we do that? So what you want to do is you want to highlight all your data, and then you're going to sort it. And to do that, you're going to go up here to the data command. You're going to go to the sort, and it's asking you, how do you want to sort this? And so it defaulted to the subject ID. That's in this header of subject ID. What we want is diagnosis, or DX. So we're going to change that to DX. Now, since we only have 2 groups, it's relatively innocuous whether we do it A to Z or Z to A, but you might want to do it alphabetically or do it from lowest to highest, depending on how you want to do it. Be sure when you do that, you highlight all of your data. That way all the rows stay together. So now I've got my healthy, the first 14 rows, and then the next 9 rows are my injured. So when I go to create my box score, or my box plot, it's a lot easier to generate. Now I generate the box plot in the same area, and then I just copy and paste it over. So if I go back to my blank data, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do my Excel version of the exact same score. Probably will look very much the same. And this was the SPSS version. So, go back here. Okay. So I'm going to highlight all my healthy data. It's all 30, so it's pretty boring looking. And I'm going to go up and create a chart or a graph. So the command to create any kind of graph is in the insert, whether it be Mac or on your PC computer. And then you got all of these different chart recommendations. So this just gives you all of the different recommended charts, and then this gives you all the different types. Once you get familiar with making graphs and doing that kind of stuff, you'll recognize these icons. Now the box plot icon is sort of hidden. It's not directly on there, so it's a little easier when you go down here and see box and whisker plot. So this is going to be a pretty boring one because this is the healthy group. You hit OK, and basically it's giving you nothing there. That's fine. It's sort of a funky analysis because there's no variation. Just copy and paste that over and define it. So, where's my copy command? There it is, copy. Bring that over to my component, and I'm going to paste that image. You can change the chart title to say the healthy group, but if you put them side by side, it'll be pretty logical to sort of see what's going on. You can make it bigger, make them look even. If you want to do that, that's fine. There's nothing I can really do about that when it's all one data point. That's why it's sort of weird. So let's go on and do the injured group and see if those look more comparable. So we'll go back to our data. I'm going to cut that. Now I'm going to highlight this data row. These are all my injured. Insert. I'm going to use the same command till you get comfortable. Hit the all charts and boxplot. There we go. Now you can give it a chart title. So this could be your injured hyphen pain scores pre. So it defaults that it's oscillating around 30. It makes it blue. Now there's a couple of things that are unique and different about Excel. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to format this data series, and it's going to pop out some information over here. One of the things that is hard to see is the fill, because it makes it blue on blue. So I'm going to say no fill, which makes it a lot easier to see what's going on with that data. The other thing that you can do in Excel that I haven't figured out how to do in SPSS is you can show all the points. So you can click on all of the data points and it will show that information. The other thing is unique to Excel is it can be with excluding the median or including the median. And a lot of times that changes the orientation of the graph. It didn't in this time, but sometimes if you click here, it'll redraw that and it'll change the data. It didn't have any effect on this particular box plot. So we're going to copy this, go up here, hit copy, boom, go to my worksheet, and I'm going to paste that image. Now the scaling looks a little different, but if I spread everything out, it starts to look similar. This value goes all the way to 0. This one stops at 18, so you got to keep in mind that you're looking at a different scale. So that looks a little tighter than that, but you have to pay attention to the numbers. It stops at 28 and it goes down to 18. There's a way to fix that in SPSS where I change that format of that graph. So if you want to make that happen, I go back up here, I have to double click on my graphing function, and now I get these other menus that appear that allow me to start manipulating this graph. So let me make this not on top of each other. There we go. So I can click on this axis, right? And so I want to change this orientation of this axis. So there's the size, there's the text style, that's more font, there's the scale. So it auto makes it. So it just defaults to an auto make it. If I want it to be more looking like the Excel, I would have that minimum be 0. I want the maximum to be 30. Now it's on the same scale. The increments can be 2, it can be 1, it can be 5s, however you want to do that. Here we have increments of 5. So let's make it look as close to that as we can. So now I'm going to make the increments 5. And what you notice is all these auto calculations are gone. So now you've overwritten the commands to make the graph look more like how you want it to look. So this is somewhat individualizing. Voila! We now have a scrunched up graph. We just close that. That looks much more comparable to the one we generated in Excel. So as your knowledge grows about how to manipulate these different images and software, so will your ability to adjust them. Now they look almost identical. Can't show the inner points, but now it's basically the same looking graph. what I want you to get out of this is not how to manipulate the graphs. That's great. If you already know how to do a box plot, you can play with this, make it look pretty. But the goal here is that you understand how to generate these box plots in both SPSS and Excel, so you can process and analyze your data as you're going along in either format. In the instructions, you're going to do that for your homework. In an Excel worksheet, you're going to create a box plot for the Excel data using SPSS and place it right next to the Excel and SPSS. So those should be somewhat similar. It's okay if they're not identical. The data you're going to use is the injured average strength data at baseline. So that's the pre for 3 muscles: upper trap, lower trap, and infraspinatus. So what I'm looking for, you get 8 points for copying the correct 3 SPSS box plot, generating 3 Excel graph data, and sort of making them be sure to label your Excel graphs clearly using the inclusive median graphs. So I'm telling you to use the inclusive median graphs. I think that'll give you a more similar representation. But play with that function. I'm going to stop. Thank you.